You know that quote that says, "It's my goal to create a life that I don't need a vacation from"? It's exciting and inspiring to think about that. And some of us, including me, are being intentional about building that life for ourselves. The life that we don't need a vacation from. Doesn't that sound awesome? Sadly, though, most people only experience moments in their lives where they feel wild and free and truly alive and fulfilled. About once a year on vacation, when they suddenly realize what's most important in life, and when they wonder how they could have ever been so caught up in all the trivialities of their day-to-day grind. Yet, in a few days time, it's right back to the real life, where their dreams just go to die again. Others merely escape from their existence intermittently, just settling for this short reprieve of some kind. Then they return to the familiar Groundhog Day way of living, convinced that this is the way it has to be, and this is all there is to life. If you relate to this reality, then please hear me when I tell you this. That way of existing is not all there is, and it doesn't have to be that way any longer. We were not created to merely exist or survive in our life. And as a therapist and a life coach, I empower and guide my clients in envisioning and creating the life that they really want to be living instead of the existence that they feel imprisoned in. I'm passionate about helping people live a life that they love because I know what it's like to feel stuck in a life that's overwhelming, exhausting, and unfulfilling. I know how miserable it feels to wake up and dread your days and wonder how you got it so wrong. And you feel powerless to do anything about changing it. And you just feel stuck there. And with the help of my own therapist and my own life coach, I learned how to reclaim my power and take back my life from the stress, from the duty, from the obligation, from the fear, from lack, from self-doubt. And now I help men and women who are struggling in similar ways create that same life that they love too, because I had such powerful transformation in my own life. And if you're tired of feeling stuck in an exhausting, unfulfilling, stressful life, or career, or business, or any area of your life, and if every day feels like Groundhog Day, and if you're overwhelmed and drained before the day even starts, if you are tired of having no time or energy for what matters most to you, and you find yourself saying that day after day, I'm going to start that tomorrow, but you never have the energy or the time to actually start doing the things that you really want to be doing. And if you wonder how in the world this ever got to be your life, and you feel lost and hopeless when you think about how you're ever going to get close to living the life that you dream of living, then today is the day to take the first step to change it. It's time to take back your life, to stop existing and start really living. Right now, just take a moment and reflect on the things that are stealing life from you. What is actually draining your energy? What is so exhausting? What feels so stressful and hard? Stop either now or set aside a few minutes sometime today to answer these questions and answer them honestly. Sometimes it's our schedule and the things that we have that are creating the stress. And sometimes it's just the things in our minds that we're telling ourselves that are creating most of the stress. But whatever it is, connect to your heart and get real and honest with yourself. And write down your answers so that you have clarity. We all struggle with things that steal our energy and suck our souls. The obligations, the duty, the expectation, the fear, the self-doubt, comparison, judgments. And if we want our life to be our own again, then we've got to start questioning our thinking and questioning our beliefs and shift our mindset once and for all. And it's a discipline and it's a practice. And we have to start examining how we are spending our time, our energy, and our resources every day. We've got to determine if that is aligning with what we say is really most important to us and if it's getting us closer to where we want to be. We also must acknowledge the quiet desperation inside that we feel, that yearning for more. And we got to start acting on it, even if it's just a little bit every day. Those little shifts add up to big steps. When I get into that place where I feel like I've lost my life to demands, to obligations, to stress, to the expectation of other people, when I feel paralyzed by fear, doubt, defeated by the judgments and the comparisons that I'm doing to myself, I remind myself that I do have the power to choose how I feel, how I think, and how I act in every moment in my life. When this is the case for me, for you, for whoever, then there are 5 simple, powerful questions that I ask myself that I want to share with you today that help me take back my life. And I want to challenge you to ask yourself these 5 questions so that you can begin to take back yours. And the first one is this: where did I allow a boundary to be crossed? If you're feeling angry, irritable towards others, anxious, overextended, overwhelmed, or resentful, it's most likely because one of your boundaries has been crossed. Maybe you crossed your own boundary. Maybe you took on too much. Maybe you allowed someone else to cross a boundary. But reflect back on the last week or two and start to consider where things may have started to go off course, or maybe months. Write down as many of those things as those boundaries that you can identify. And stop and think about who or what you handed your power over to. What have you taken on that's not yours to carry and not yours to take? The second thing, ask yourself, what do I want more of and less of right now in my life? Take a moment to stop and realign with what's most important to you. Remind yourself that everything is a trade-off in every moment. In every decision you make, every dollar you spend, and every ounce of energy you expend, you're choosing something over something else. And make sure that how you're choosing to spend your time, your energy, and your resources are aligned with what you really want. And it's getting you closer to what you say you want. And then determine the small steps that you can take to begin to course correct. Do one thing today that gets you closer to what you say you want, or release something that you want less of. Make the shift. The third question is this: what am I tolerating? Stop for a moment and the answer will come to the surface pretty easily, I guarantee you, if you stop and really think about it. Notice what feels heavy and burdensome in your life. Wherever you feel that lack of peace, you're carrying a burden that wasn't intended for you to carry. Or you're believing a lie that wasn't intended for you to believe. You may be settling for the counterfeit version of what you really want in some way because you don't believe that what you really want is available to you. Or you may be believing the lie that if you honor what you do want and what you do need, then someone may not approve of it. And there's going to be some kind of negative retribution for that. Whatever the reason and whatever the thing, tolerating leads to existing. And existing is not living. We got to do something different. The fourth question is this: what can I let go of that is no longer serving me? What's holding you back from moving forward and from living a life of freedom and fulfillment? Is it fear, worry that saps your time and your energy? Or you may be holding on to resentment or unforgiveness towards someone or towards God or even towards yourself, keeping you stuck in misery and torment. It may be that you're holding on to your picture of the way life should have been. That's perpetuating frustration and discontentment. Or you're holding on to an image of the life that you think you deserve or you should have. That's creating that perpetual disappointment and frustration. Maybe it's a relationship that's sucking energy from you and offering you such little positive in return. It may be a habit or a mindset, even fear, doubt, or comparison that feels similar and feels familiar and comfortable and safe even. But in the end, it's keeping you stuck. Whatever it is, it's time to let go of what's no longer serving you and open up space for what you really want to arrive in its place. And the fifth question is this: how am I standing outside my story and hustling for my worthiness? You'll hear me talk about this a lot. It's one of my favorite quotes by Brene Brown that says, you either walk inside your story and you own it, or you stand outside your story and you hustle for your worthiness. We buy into the lie that we have to do enough, have enough, achieve enough to try to be enough. And when we live out of that place, we stay perpetually frustrated and we wear ourselves out. We don't realize that we're already enough, and that the story that God's writing in our lives is the best possible story there is for us, and it's going to bring out the best in us to live that story. We don't understand that we have everything we need available to us in abundance that empowers us to be our best self and live out our God-given purpose. But we do. It's true. He promises that. And we're our most powerful, creative, and fulfilled self when we're living in our authenticity and in our passions and in our purpose. When we reject ourselves or our story, when we covet someone else's story, or when we're trying to do enough and have enough to be enough, we are standing outside of our story and trying to hustle for our worthiness. Is it time for you to step back into who you really are and start walking in your story? If these 5 questions are so overwhelming to you that you don't even know where to start, or if you feel like you've lost yourself or lost your way, please reach out for help. I had to. We have everything within us, everything we need to live the life that God intends for us, a full, free, abundant life. But we can't do it alone. Sometimes we can't see our own blind spots, or we can't get out of that own stuck place that we keep ourselves in. I had to ask for help in the process of finding my way back to me, and I had to seek guidance in discovering and then living out my purpose. The most valuable investment I ever made was to hire a therapist and a life coach to walk out the journey with me. So if that's where you are, don't put off asking for help any longer if you need it. And trust that there will be a way, that God will provide, and it's the best investment that you'll ever make. If you've simply just gotten off course just a little, then hopefully these 5 questions offer you the insight in how to begin to make adjustments to your path. Despite your reality, know this truth: the life that you yearn for inside is available to you. The answers are inside of you. And if you're a Christian, God's perfect wisdom is accessible to guide you in every moment when you ask for it and when you listen to receive it. Taking the time to check in with your heart is invaluable, and it's crucial to living a life of contentment and fulfillment. That life is the life you were intended to live. So stop settling for struggling, striving, and surviving when you were made to thrive. Finally, the clearer you are about what really matters to you and the more respectful you are of yourself and how you spend your time, your energy, and your resources, the more powerful you are in intentionally creating the life that you want to be living. So start right now. Clarify and reconnect with what matters most. Determine where you've handed away your power and settled for less than God's best for you. Evaluate where you need to make adjustments. Ask for the help that you need. Believe that the more that you yearn for is available to you, and it wouldn't be inside of you coming up if it wasn't available. And the life of freedom and fulfillment that you desire is awaiting you.